This is my family's bike shop. My father has had a bike shop since he was 21, so it's been over 20 years. And this is his third one. And I've been working here since I was 11, after school and summers. Wow. Even when I have a job, when I'm free, I'm here. So we're all here putting in time, putting in work to the family business. We have bicycles here, electric scooters.
Electric scooters?
Electric scooters.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the delivery people use. We do repairs here. It's just awesome.
Oh, your dad grew up here?
He came here at 7.
Okay.
And then he grew up in Brooklyn, yeah.
From Jamaica?
From Jamaica. He was in Jamaica from 1 to 7.
Wow, okay.
And he came here.
That's cool. All right, so you show me around a little bit what you do when you work here.
So I usually talk to a lot of the customers, and around the holidays now, so a lot of people are usually buying like small children's bikes. So we have children's bikes. This is really cool.
Oh yeah, tricycle.
I love this little swing. This is a really good model, really good brand.
Oh, and it has the tassels.
It does.
That's awesome. I like that. So do you do repairs too?
I can fix flat.
Okay.
I mainly do like sales, and I handle like the money and just make sure everything's okay with my siblings.
Okay. This is Tupac? Hi, Amanda. Hi. Nice to meet you. Hi, this is my husband, Jordan.
Hey. How you doing, Jordan? How are you? Nice to meet you.
Cool, awesome.
We're in my dad's bike shop in Bushwick, Brooklyn.
And this is...
And this is Alfred.
So, Alfred, do you mind telling us how you guys met?
We met, our initial meeting was meeting but not meeting. She came to a screening for a film that I did, and I just remember vaguely seeing her. She saw me a couple of weeks later, and she said that she walked up to me and she said, "Oh, I really enjoyed you in the film that you were in." And I was like, I'm sitting there going, "Why do I know you?" And she's like, "You probably saw me at the screening." And I was like, "Oh yeah, the screening." So that's the first time we met. And after that, we saw each other at a summer party, and she was playing shy. In fact, she walked in between a couple of girls and was like, "Oh yeah, he's stalking me," and then walked away. And I was just like, so that's pretty much how we met.
Saw each other a few more times.
Then it was almost like fate, because I was sitting talking to a friend of mine on 14th Street, and my back was turned, and it's the funniest thing, because as I'm talking, his eyes are like shifting, and he's looking, because she's about to walk up to me, and he's like, "Do you know this person?" And she taps me, and she said, "Oh, how you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, hello." Then I thought it was my opportune time, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the movies?" And that's how it started. She said yes. How could she resist?
Cool. What was the first movie you took her to? Do you remember?
I don't even know if we went to the movie. We didn't even go to the movie. We had to go to get something to eat, some seafood.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, the movie was just a cover for me. Our anniversary is actually on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And because we were kind of zeroing in on when the day was, and we can kind of both agree that that was a day that we officially had the hots for each other. So we did that.
That's nice. So, right now you live in California,
I live in
right?
Los Angeles right now.
Okay. And you're there for work?
Yeah. And I mean, I live wherever the work is, but I, maybe in 2011, September, I moved there and set up shop for us, basically. This is before we ever heard of what's going on.
Okay. So how do you keep a long distance relationship going?
I've always told people that long distance relationships are just as, whether more difficult or they're just as easy as a person being in the same place with you. Communication is key. I know that sounds so cliche, but it's true. Communication is key. You really just have to be able to the distance or the immediacy or the intimacy, the physical intimacy, so far as touching someone and having them around every day, that may be the biggest thing that you have. But as far as me and her talk as if she's around the block, we talk every 2 hours.
And we voice chat. I have to see him.
Yeah,
we voice chat almost every day.
She told me from the beginning, she had all these things. She was like, I I don't do long distance. I don't do all this stuff. See,
I don't
and
go
then
to the Bronx.
I don't go to the Bronx. So when I first met her, I had just moved to Brooklyn, and she was like, "If you were in the Bronx, I would have never came." She had all these things she used to say.
So, how long is your long distance relationship? Like, is there a plan for it to not be long distance anymore?
Yeah. It's interesting how curveballs are thrown your way. It was always intended for me to go first and to set up shop, so to speak, and then she would come out, and that had happened. I had got everything, got the apartment, everything, and then got a call that one morning.
And what was that conversation like? What did she say when she called?
I always tell the story a lot because it's I think it's a testament to what's going on between us. June 8th, was it?
June 8th.
I remember obviously the 3-hour difference. I remember being in the bed. I remember her calling. I remember automatically knowing something was wrong. And still, she was still calm. She was like, I have to tell you something that just got my... Well, I need to rewind because when I was here, before I left, she was starting to vomit a lot. But, everyone's like, there may be a pregnancy, and we're like, oh, maybe. So, but then it wasn't. So it was kind of like, oh, and then it would stop, and it would go weeks, and then she called me one day and was like, oh, I vomited again, and I was like, okay. I was like, you gotta go to the doctor because something's going on. I had no idea when I got the call it would be this, and she was basically calm, and she said, I have something to tell you, and the doctor said I have leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia, right? And I remember thinking this can't be happening, and then she was still calm, and this is the part that always makes me feel sad. I always tell us she didn't start crying until she said to me, he said to me, "But a possibility I can't give you a child," and that's when she started crying. I was like, oh wow, So that's how I found out. It was difficult. I still haven't really accepted it, and I won't. I refuse to. I know that the fact that it's there, but I always tell her, about things like meditate. Oh,
I feel so bad.
Yeah.
You okay? Okay. So how does this change your plans for the future when you plan the future together?
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean,
It just pushed it back a little. We were supposed to both be in California this past June, and that's exactly what I found out.
her ticket.
I already have my ticket, but I still went out there just to stay.
I mean, it doesn't change anything. I mean, life happens. The reality is that life is a series of I don't want to necessarily say problems, but let's just use that word, problems, or knots, and you just have to untie the knots. That's all it is. It's not a whole why me type situation. It's not a situation where you go, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. You deal with what's in front of you, and that's just the reality of it. That's it. I mean, that's it. I don't see myself becoming a vegan. However, I always tell her this, is that, because I feel bad when we go places, like it was Christmas and we go places and everybody's like eating and she loves food and she's eating a salad. So what I'll do is, if I'm someplace and I know and I can see on her face she can't eat, I'll eat like her. I had a brother that died in 2001. And he was in the military. He came out and just had brain tumor. So I've seen him do chemotherapy, and like again, I see my brother's hair drop out. It was, to me, the experience was just like I was like, oh my God, like what's happening? This is a thing that's supposed to, he couldn't smell anything. If he smelled something, he'd feel sick. It was just like, and as a kid, as a boy, your big brother who's been in the military is your hero. So I get a chance to see him, and he's just always weak, always sick. My brother was 40 years old. And the reason why I'll always remember that, because I often tell people that if you know at age 20 you're halfway through this life, how would you live your life? That's my thing, because at 40, I remember being at his funeral thinking at 20 he was halfway through.
And how about you, Crystal? Where do you get your information from, and how do you decipher what's just like, not
real.
not real, or something you would never try, or something that you would be like, oh, that sounds like a really good idea. I should try that.
Well, when I first was diagnosed, of course, I went online and just was like researching a whole bunch of different like alternative treatments, different ways to cure cancer without it. So I did a lot of research online. I contacted people that I read about online. I've contacted actual people that were cancer survivors or that I know that knew someone who went through some type of cancer, family members. I spoke to my cousin whose mom died and she was with her hand by hand, holding her hand through the whole process. So I took all those experiences and really, that's after speaking to him and like doing all my research, that's when I really decided like I wanted to do the holistic route. I didn't speak too much to my family as far as my father at first or my siblings or some cousins because everybody was just conventional. So me just doing research like online and I read a few books and I was looking up Chris Carr and that's how I got my answers on holistic medicine. Alright, you have my open this gift.
No, it's fine.
Because Anna said that's a naughty gift.
It's
so-
very naughty.
Very naughty.
In a good way.
Are you ready? Let me know when you're ready, Jordan.
I'm ready. I'm rolling.
Please don't let us be like chocolate. She's
Oh, we
like,
love chocolate.
I know.
That's the best thing in the world. I had him go to the bakery and buy me chocolate. He bought the wrong one.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, so I was like, what is this?
How you buy
I
the
said
wrong one?
chocolate chip, not chocolate chip.
How can you buy wrong chocolate?
Exactly.
I don't.
Because it wasn't such a dark
You
chocolate.
wanted to be specific.
Ooh, it's
vegan chocolate.
I know.
It's like,
It's on your blog.
Oh, yeah.
I said, she's like, oh, you see my blog?
Yeah, she gives all the profits to like animal shelters and stuff.
Awesome.
This is little, so there's vegan chocolate out there. They're not all
Forever mocha. Oh, Foster peppermint. That's cute. I wonder if this is her dog. It's just a
It
random
is her dog.
Oh. Pick me, Pepper. Pick me, Pepper.
She does have. I don't know
Aw.
whose cat is, but yeah.
Mission, that's cute. Thank you, Anna and
You're
Jordan.
welcome.
I knew it was chocolate.
Chocolate,
See?
you're a chocolate lover tonight. We have to look out for the chocolate lovers.
Alright.